hang out at dockside bars.
Do you like baseball, Jimmy?
I like baseball. Welcome to the podcast that we do.
It's called
White Nerds Complain.
About Marvel Movies.
White nerd, what have you learned? White nerd. Oh, you could have been more anti yourself. Remember that Shoo song?
Yeah, but it made me think of another song and then I lost it.
Under pressure.
Judy!
What you gonna do? All right, big things to talk about today. This week, there's some big items on the list. Number one.
I don't know what they are, but go ahead.
Number one, classic World of Warcraft has come out.
Oh yeah, I'm not playing it.
I am. At this point, I had planned on reading some erotic World of Warcraft fan fiction for you to create hype.
Yeah, I remember the one?
Yeah, the one that Blizzard had to be like, we don't support this. I tried to find that
What
one.
was it, like, Blunderbuss or Dwarven Hand? Dwarven Hand Cannon.
No, that was different where he was on the RP realm.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
No, there was one where a player had just written like a long form.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that one. It's not
anthology.
as fun as the guy that was in the RP realm and like just kind of interceded his way into conversation.
I pull out my Dwarven hand cannon. Yar yar hump hump. Yeah, but so I spent untold hours, honestly, trying to find something
one
was like that had like the right punch, the right length, not too like.
You couldn't find
Because I didn't want to sit here and then she got tied up and he blasted her butthole and blah blah. But I read a lot of World of Warcraft erotic fanfiction, and it's really self-indulgent, if you can imagine.
Dude, I mean, like the erotic fiction that actually gets published is really self-indulgent.
Mm-hmm.
Like 50 Shades of Grey is ridiculous.
And incredibly problematic. World of Warcraft has a big problem with rape.
Oh, no, there's a shock.
So I was like, ooh, oh no, I can't do this.
Nerd culture has a big problem with rape.
Yeah. I was like, nope, I can't do this. I mean, there was some interesting ones, but how can you write 7 pages of like a forced bondage scene? You know what I mean? How can you read 7 pages? How did I read 7 pages? The best one was like about a blood elf coming to Orgrimmar to find out if her blood elf husband was cheating on her, and she just had to sell herself into sex slavery to some orcs, because get it, orcs are
black people.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So yeah, World of Warcraft erotic fanfiction, very problematic. I understand why Blizzard wanted to distance themselves from it. They tried to do that with Overwatch too, where they're like, don't really want to sexualize their characters, but I think that's the whole reason people play Overwatch, is so they can make Overwatch porn. Yeah.
I can taste it in my throat.
I have been playing it.
What level are you? That's the important thing.
So I got to level 30.
That's the shoulder pad levels?
No, shoulder pads are around like 15 to 20.
Okay. But I don't remember anymore.
So around level 30 is when you're starting to do quests in like Thousand Needles.
Oh, I hate that place.
Like Arathi Highlands. Mm-hmm. And so I got level 30. I was in Thousand Needles, and I was like, well, let's go check out like Arathi Highlands, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I went there, this wave of like nostalgia depression washed over me, where I immediately was like transported back to me at 18 and like the weird like isolation and depression, that particular flavor of depression I had when I was 18 like came flooding back to me, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can play this game anymore. Like it just made me feel really bad, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then so I haven't played it since then, which sucks. I wish I wasn't like so sensitive about shit like that, but I was just like, oh god, I wasn't very happy when I was 18.
I honestly don't know if I can go back and play World of Warcraft, because it's just like all the people I play with don't play anymore.
Yeah, it's just
really
a huge time
anymore, and it just would be me by myself, or me and I guess you, but our schedules don't always match up really well.
Yeah,
so that's a big reason why I'm not doing it. Plus, it's money and time that I could be doing other shit with. I'm not 18 years old anymore. I got shit to do.
You were never 18 playing World of Warcraft. You were like 20 when it came out.
Was I? I don't remember when it came out.
November 2004.
Oh yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm. I'm too much of a wimp. I have too long of a checkered past of depression and shit. I hate when like things remind me of like previous like flavors of depression I've had. It was like too much. I was like, oh, uh oh. So then I watched.
You get triggered.
Yeah, the Great British Baking Show a lot, and I haven't played since then.
Your happy place is the Great British Baking Show.
Well, it is like so nice and relaxing to watch. But man, like it is such like a bourgeois TV show. Like all the people on it. Well, I mean,
it's British. So
I was thinking about it too. I mean, at least like England's not so Anglo anymore, so it's not just a bunch of Angles or Englishmen. But I was watching that, I was like, man, everyone in this show's like fucking wealthy, you know. They talk about their hobbies and stuff, and I was like, that kind of makes sense because fucking baking as a hobby. Like, who the fuck has time or money to do that? You know what I mean?
I mean, no one really. I mean, yeah, baking's not like an expensive hobby, but it is a time consuming.
Like,
I mean, to like the cakes and shit they do.
Yeah, to be able to just like, I'm gonna practice doing like a 3-tiered blah 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 cake, and if I fuck up, whatever, it only costs $100.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The other thing too is I don't even like the whole idea of making a cake that looks very pretty but tastes awful is disgusting to me. So,
well, the big part of Great British Baking
I
Show
can't stand like the super decorations on cake. I think it's
bullshit. No, they don't do that shit. And well, there's
they
like
do it just in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, it's less to taste good. Yeah, so class consciousness kind of ruins that show, but I was like, whatever. At least like every season's got like a waifu or a husband doing it. And then Noel Fielding's like one of the hosts now, so that's cool. There's an episode where he was trying to explain to one of the contestants, old Greg from Mighty Boosh. And I was like, what a career. I was like, wow, no feeling. You really did.
You made it, man.
It's crazy that he is like so mainstream in England now.
Yeah, well, I would not have expected it from when I remember watching Mighty Boosh.
Yeah. Well, he just got like super popular doing like the panel shows that are popular in England. And everyone was like, he's weird, but he's funny. So he made it, I guess.
Those British still love those panel shows. I don't get it.
They're fucking good, man. I'll still watch them on YouTube and stuff. I love watching like the big fat quiz of the year around Christmas time.
We're far afield from your list. World of Warcraft Classics item 1. What's number 2?
Well, number 1 feeds into number 2 because we were talking about World of Warcraft, which is the playground of frustrated white incels. I was talking about myself at 18. I wasn't an incel, but who really cares about the internalized depression of a white man, you know? So that kind of feeds into topic 2, though, where I'm going to ask you, what do you get when you take 2 early Martin Scorsese movies, mash them together, and tie it into a super popular mainstream intellectual property?
Oh, shit. The Joker.
That's right.
It's Taxi Driver and Raging Bull?
King of Comedy.
King of Comedy.
He's even dressed like De Niro.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot King of Comedy.
And De Niro's in Joker, and it looks like
100%. It's a King of Comedy.
Yeah, no, it is just like a ripoff. I don't know why people are like, that's okay.
We talked about this off air, and I guess it's kind of becoming more of a prevalent thought. But it seems so weird to do a Joker story right now where he's the protagonist. You know what I mean? Even though hopefully you're not portraying him as like a good person.
Oh.
And then not have Batman in it as a foil.
Yeah.
Like people already elevate the Joker in a weird degree, and like the Joker and Harley Quinn relationship in a way that I think is very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Well, surely this movie will explore the nature of Joker, and
I would hope so, but I don't think so by the way you're looking at me.
Oh, well, let's
I haven't read anything about it, but you're being very coy right now.
Well, let me just read to you a snippet from
I'm just reading between the lines, Kyle, is what I'm getting at.
David Ehrlich has seen the Joker because it premiered at the Venice Film Festival this past week, and let me just read to you a snippet from his critique. Joker is the human-sized and adult-oriented comic book movie that Marvel critics have been clamoring for. There's no action, no spandex, no obvious visual effects, and the whole thing is so gritty and serious that DCEU fanboys will feel as if they've died and seen the Snyder Cut.
But it's the also Snyder Cut? Fuck that. I hate that idea. Fuck you guys. Snyder's bullshit.
Snyder All right, well, Cut. He's putting that in here to call out the DC fanboys.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. But it's also the worst case scenario for the rest of the film world, as it points towards a grim future in which the inmates have taken over the asylum, and even the most repulsive of mid-budget character studies can be massive hits and Oscar contenders, so long as they're at least tangentially related to some popular intellectual property. The next Lost in Translation will be about Black Widow and Howard Stark spending a weekend together at a Sokovia hotel. The next Carol will be an achingly beautiful period drama about young Valkyrie falling in love with a blonde woman she meets in an Asgardian department store.
So Asgard doesn't have department stores. Ridiculous.
Well, it's basically just...
Yeah, I know, I get it.
Comic book movies are so apocryphal now that... Oh, it's... So basically, as we said, rehashing Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy.
Yeah.
But the Joker's in it now, so I'm the Joker, baby! Look, give me money! I'm the Joker, baby! So I have sort of mixed feelings about it, because I do like Joaquin Phoenix. And Todd Phillips made one good movie. It was actually his student film. It's called Hated, Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. It's a documentary about Gigi Allen.
Mm-hmm.
That was made in the 90s when he's a student. Since then, hasn't done anything good. So I don't know why all of a sudden he'd be like, yes, let me take on the monumental task of copying Martin Scorsese for a social commentary starring the Joker, baby.
I don't know. Like, it seems so weird to do. I don't understand why Joker needs to be a character study.
Well, Todd Phillips' Joker is unquestionably the boldest reinvention of superhero cinema since The Dark Knight. A true original that's sure to be remembered as one of the most transgressive studio blockbusters of the 21st century. It's also a toxic rallying cry for the self-pitying incels in a hyper-familiar origin story so indebted to Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy that Martin Scorsese probably deserves an executive producer credit. I think he is a producer on the film, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. It's possessed by the kind of provocative spirit that's seldom found in any sort of mainstream entertainment, but also directed by a glorified edgelord who lacks the discipline and nuance to responsibly handle such hazardous material, and who reliably takes the coward's way out of the narrative's most critical moments.
Cool. So basically everything I thought was going to happen, I was afraid of.
Well, that's the big thing that a lot of critics are confronting right now is, it's a pretty good movie. It's impressive because it is just a shitty cash grab, intellectual property, character study, bullshit, capitalism. Oh, look, it's the Joker, guys. And then also, as you can imagine, the Joker's made relatable because he's the protagonist. You need to understand his inner thoughts, inner workings, his motivations. Otherwise, what the fuck are you watching? Problem is, Joker's a piece of shit. So, what's the point?
I don't know.
So that's the thing is, I don't necessarily have a problem with confrontational film, but I do see why it can be dangerous on such a mass mainstream scale, especially since it seems to be kind of the point of the film is Todd Phillips wanted to say that so it addresses like modern politics and sociological problems, but as this review says, like, why would Todd Phillips have the panache to address that issue? I feel like all it's going to do is validate some of the existing feelings that, like, fragile, estranged white boys have. Because that's kind of what the Joker's already become in pop culture.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it with The Dark Knight, and then, again, in Suicide Squad even a little bit. I mean, I guess I'll withhold all my judgment until I actually see the movie, but it does seem like they didn't really think about it as much as they probably should have.
Well, I think they thought about it as much as Todd Phillips and the writers and stuff are probably capable of. Like we talked about last week with Valley Girl, where there's such a narrow field of view in Hollywood. Like
I guess.
Todd Phillips doesn't know anything about real life, you know?
I mean,
he doesn't know what's going on in the world. He just reads like Twitter comments and shit, and he's like, oh, okay, these are real issues. I can address them. Hold on, I'll handle it. Let me just put the Joker in it. Because if you've seen the trailers, you get the idea.
Yeah.
And if you've seen King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, there's like plot beats that are exactly the same, apparently.
Well, I mean, they even, if you go back and read the comic books, like The Killing Joke, The Man Who Laughs, they have some of those same elements in it.
The Man Who Laughs? You mean Victor Hugo's novel?
Well, but I mean, there was a Joker story.
I know. I'm just
asshole.
I'm just talking about how comic books have been creatively bankrupt for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dangerous game to play, and so there's going to be a lot of people that are like, well, it's just a movie. And it's like, well, sometimes art can be provocative in the wrong ways. So
no, Kyle, movies aren't saying anything.
And they also, so the same people that say, hey, it's just a movie are the same people that really want to legitimize comic book movies as an art form.
Yeah.
So
you can't have it both
can't
ways.
have it both ways. So is it art? It's not art. It's not political.
It's also the same people that talk about video
art.
games. They're like, oh no, video games aren't trying to actually say anything or be political, but they're also art.
Just the best of
Hey,
both worlds.
I want my chosen form of media to be recognized as important, but I don't want it to be critiqued in any way. I don't want to have to think about what I consume, Kyle.
When they do want to think about it, they just
no, they don't. They want to. They want to look at it
a-
very superficially. That's not thinking about it.
But they want other people to feel exactly the same way they do about it, but be free from any criticism. Come on, aren't video games just the best? I
really like Super Mario Brothers 3.
Super Mario Bros. 3 and the late stage capitalism of Japan. Am I right, fellas?
That was a little before they got into real late stage capitalism. They're still riding high, and that was like '89.
Yeah, there's still just regular out of control capitalism.
What's item 3 on your list? Is it the actual movie?
Yep, item 3.
Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona. World of Warcraft is shitty and for incels, and it makes me sad.
Joker is
Shitty and for incels.
and
Makes me sad.
Angry?
I don't know what it makes me feel.
I guess the thing is, I just
It
don't...
makes me feel that film is dead.
It just seems so weird. I didn't ever want or need, and I still don't... I'm not really that interested in a movie that explores the Joker.
No, I don't really care. Like, there's already... The Killing Joke already exists.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who cares? Who fucking cares, man? I just don't care about any of these comic book movie characters or comic book characters as film. I'm not sure. The Joker, a character study about the Joker is supposed to like be a substantial study of society as a whole, as filtered through the corruption of Gotham and how that applies to our world, but it's being made by a major corporation, and I don't know, everything about it is just bullshit. You know what I mean? It's still, yeah. Don't worry, guys. We live in a society. Well, you know how you create a Joker, right? You just put a guy in society. Society.
Nicolas Cage is bigger than I realized because John Goodman doesn't make him look tiny.
Well, you see him in the police lineup a few times. He looks like he's about close to 6 feet.
Yeah. I'm just so used to John Goodman towering over everybody in movies. It looks weird.
Well, John Goodman's not super tall, is he? For an actor, he is.
6'3" or 6'4", so yeah, he's reasonably tall for an actor.
Yeah, and then he's huge. He's also like not super fat in this one. You know what I mean?
this
He's like overweight, but he's not as big as he gets later on. This is Coen Brothers' second movie after Blood Simple, which up until they made No Country for Old Men, Blood Simple really kind of stood out in their filmography.
Yeah, because they had these weird like.
I guess Miller's Crossing, which is like my favorite gangster movie of all time.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, usually they're just kind of folk tales in a way. They make a lot of movies that exist in their own.
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of whimsy to it.
Yeah, but
I mean that's true to a certain extent. Of even like No Country for Old Men, it's not. It's like a more of a sinister whimsy, but it does definitely exist in its own world.
Yeah, but it's Cormac McCarthy's world, so
Yeah,
it's like
true.
a real evil Southwest. You know, the Raising Arizona takes place in Southwest, but it's like the Coen Brothers like hyper fantasy redneck version of Arizona. Because this shit takes place around Tempe.
Yeah,
And I was like, what? There's a scene where they're like, oh, we got an affordable starter home in the Tempe suburbs, and it's a trailer park out straight up in the middle of the desert. And I was like, Tempe's like a major city, and it has been for like 100 years.
yeah, even since like '83, guys.
Yeah. That's like in Sicario, though.
Oh yeah, well I've heard it. Day of the Salido.
No, in the very first one,
Oh.
even the one directed by Mr. Denis Villeneuve, who is an amazing director. He's very keen, as people circle jerk about on the internet. But there's a part where they free like sex trafficking victims, and there's like an overhead shot, and like, yeah, it's Chandler, Arizona.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
it looks like it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like, what? You didn't like scout out like what Chandler,
It's
Arizona looked like? It looks like fucking suburbs in
you
the
cannot.
valley.
You can't tell. You can drive from Chandler for 2 hours and not see the desert. So
Well, I mean, you just go to the freeway and like there's desert. You know, like there's
really.
elements of the desert everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the middle of nowhere kind of desert. It's
It's actually kind of like the middle of Arizona too.
bum 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 bum. Well, I can't get this essay to load, but here's the basic idea. Just like to kind of follow through on the other things we talked about and the through line from last week, where we talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the podcast, but didn't really talk about it so much with the movie. When I watched Raising Arizona, I was looking through it because I've seen it like a million times now. I think.
Yeah, I know.
It's like really easy. It's a fucking fun movie. It's really easy to watch. It's apparently like Matthew McConaughey's favorite movie, so he's watched it like hundreds of times. But I was like, all right, so
is this your favorite? This is not my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but it's up there.
no, it's not my favorite. I like.
As far as like,
I don't know.
This is gonna sound weird, but as far as like rewatchability, I'll sit down and watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou whenever I get a chance.
I think that's most people. That's definitely like their number one Coen Brothers comedy movie.
Yeah,
because they have two separate tracks. They have like weird comedy movies and then like serious and violent movies. So I'm like, usually their violent movies stand out more to me, but I do like violence in film. I know that sounds weird, but it's interesting. So I like Miller's Crossing a lot. No Country for Old Men, Blood Simple. But like, yeah, Brother Art Thou and Raising Arizona, and like even like Burn After Reading.
yeah,
or
that's pretty good in that. And
Intolerable
Malkovich.
Cruelty. Like they have some like movies that are like just not as up to par as you would think for the Coen Brothers, but even those are pretty good.
Lady Killers.
I actually still can't really watch the Lady Killers. It's like too boring to me or something. But their most recent comedy, the one about like old school Hollywood, I forget what it's called. Hail Caesar.
Oh, Hail Caesar.
That one's like really fucking good. It's just got like some.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, Ballad of Buster Scruggs is good too. Except for I don't really like one of the stories in it. The one with James Franco.
I like that. Well, I guess
It's all right. I think it's like the weakest one.
That's true.
Best one is Tom Waits as Gold Digger.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, Coen Brothers have been a big part of my life. I know it's like a super pretentious like white nerd thing to say, but yeah, like they've really helped kind of formulate like certain tastes that I have in film. So that's pretty cool. Thanks, Coen Brothers.
All right, so what's the
just
thrust of your essay?
So it's actually an essay by Evan Kelly. If anyone can find it, you go and read it. It's pretty good. It's about the Coen Brothers and masculinity, and he uses 3 of their films to present his thesis about basically the performative aspect of masculinity and then the reality of masculinity. 3 films he uses are Fargo, Big Lebowski, and Raising Arizona. I think Big Lebowski and Fargo have much more direct commentary on what masculinity is, but you can see like the little kernels of it in Raising Arizona.
I mean, Raising Arizona of those ones, the only one really deals with fatherhood necessarily, which I think there is an element specifically to masculinity and fatherhood that people tend to overlook.
I think so too, but Raising Arizona, as far as, well, I guess it's tied into masculinity, but as far as the having children aspect goes in Raising Arizona, I feel like it's more about following normative behavior, even if it's not necessarily for you. You know what I mean? Here's the basic idea. Nicolas Cage is he's a career criminal, basically. He's a really shitty.
He's an awful career. He's a terrible career criminal.
Well, he doesn't use bullets because he doesn't want to hurt anyone, and he just gets caught like every time he robs a convenience store. And he also can't get very much money from robbing the convenience store. And you'll probably get shot robbing a convenience store. So, just not great. But he meets Edwina, or Ed, who's a police officer. And they just meet enough times where they just fall in love. Like the opening 10 minutes of the movie is great, where he just keeps getting arrested, and you just see Ed in different periods of her life.
Yeah.
Did you notice? I'm not sure what it is. Is it You don't really notice it now with Nicolas Cage because he's like overweight, or not overweight, but he's like old man, like dad looking kind of guy. So, and he's always got a beard now too. But he has like a weak chin or like a weak jaw or something. Cause so like even though he's thin in this movie and you can see his jawline, it's like he just I don't know. Is it I can't figure out. Is it like does he have a weak chin or like a weak jaw? He just like doesn't have like as much jaw as like Hollywood actors normally do. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's talk about masculinity some more.
Well, yeah, that's I mean that's right. That's the masculine feature is to have like a strong jawline, and he like kind of does it. And I was watching it not because I was like, oh, he's less of a man now because he's Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is dope as fuck. But I was like, what is it? Is it a weak chin or is it because it's not like a weak chin like Englishmen have, those Anglos?
Yeah, where it's like receded.
Yeah, but it's like
he's just got a thin one. He's got a more effeminate chin.
Yeah, there's like not as much there. Well, but then I was like, women usually have like pretty strong. Their jawline's usually pretty defined. It's like not as large as a man's, but. So it's like not effeminate either. It's like we can't figure out is it his jaw is like really narrow or something. I don't know. I don't know. It was just really. I was like, huh, what?
This has been Nick Cage's chin podcast.
Oh, also that is just kind of how his chest hair grows. Did you see that? Because in this movie, when they show him without a shirt, he still has like that weird V pattern.
No, I think he shaves it that way. Because I actually went and looked at pictures of Nick Cage. I specifically Googled Nick Cage chest hair, and it seems like it did different periods. He has very different chest hair. I honestly think he shaves it like that. It looks too much like he's trying to accentuate his pecs.
Maybe I don't know. I was like, it's just such like a weird shape though. I'm more just like his chest hair didn't grow.
He's got a freak chest hair.
Yeah, his chest hair just most of it grew in later or something. It's like I don't know. You get hairier over time. Nicolas Cage just grew it all on his chest. Anyhow.
Manness.
Masculinity. Raising Arizona, there's a lot of performative masculinity because our hero, H.I. McDonough, doesn't really fit into what would be classified as normative masculinity, right, in mainstream society. He doesn't really fit into mainstream society at all. So Ed is a police officer, though. But he, like, kind of takes her away from her normal lifestyle. Well, he doesn't take her away.
No, she kind of takes him away because like
they're both pulling each other to this like center that neither of them belong in, and the film kind of alludes to it where they're like thinking of busting up, as they say, where they're just like, yeah, we want different things and blah blah. It's like no, they actually work together. We're all as a team. It's just they're both trying to achieve something that they don't actually really need. You know what I mean? And it seems like they're doing it for society's benefit, right? They're performing societal obligations.
I mean, that seems like a big stretch to what, and you mean like the them getting together or the baby part?
The baby part.
That seems like a big stretch because they specifically go out of their way to snatch a child.
Yeah, but Nick Cage doesn't really want to. As soon as they do it, he gets really nervous and flustered about it.
That's what everybody does that as a kid, though.
Yeah, but then Ed's trying to they invite over his supervisor, and
right?
They're just she's talking about, now we got like real friends equality, and they're trying to like have a suburban normal lifestyle, but it doesn't suit them at all, right? There's a scene where he's using his shoehorn to put on his like fucking gaiters, they look like, and it's just like he's putting on a costume, you know what I mean? That's not H.I. McDonough, right? He's putting on a costume to infiltrate the underworld that is like normal suburbia, and then we find out his supervisor is just a fucking loser dickhead, and so
which is everybody.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is he's also performing some role, some masculinity role that doesn't actually really suit him or suit most people, but you just gotta fall in line, kind of. The movie's of two minds really about the stealing the baby part, because some of it is just seemingly they just want to have a baby, right? But then a lot of it is there's a lot of commentary on how it fits, like what the societal nature of like having a child is, you know, and like why they need to do it.
Well, I mean, there's two things too. Like, there's what society expects you to do when you have a kid, and there's what you actually want to do when you have a kid. Like, you can see it too in like Gale and God, what's his brother's name?
Avell.
when they take the kid, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give him back and get that money. But as soon as they have the kid, they're like, oh fuck this, we love this kid, we're gonna keep him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just like a fucking phenomenal kid. Like when Nick Cage steals him, he's like, yeah, this
is the best one.
Yeah, this is the best. He must just be a phenomenal kid. You love being around or something. But I also think that with Gale and Avell, it's just because they're like Coen Brothers villains in air quotes, where like they're like teethless, you know, they're like relatable and like comical. Where it's like,
I guess, but then like I feel like that's a cop out. Like that's just because they're Coen Brothers villains and they don't have any real motivation. But the reason that H.I. and Ed have so much problem is because there's this deep meaning behind it. Like that's again like you're trying to have it two ways.
Well, what is the motivation for Gale and Avell to care about the kid aside from the comedic elements of it? So, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's two ways. I think that's kind of what Gale and Avell are used for. Like there is much more character development with H.I. McDonough and Ed than there is Gale and Avell. And
well, yeah, but there's much more character development with H.I. and Ed than anybody in the movie, though.
Yeah, but that's so the motivations for the two Greaser brothers, or they don't say what their last names are, but
yeah, they do. I can't remember what it was.
But they steal the kid for the ransom money,
right?
And then they just fall in love with the kid because it's funny. You know what I mean? Like there isn't very much motivation to it.
I mean, I guess the argument would be that the motivation. I don't know. Well,
I guess preternatural instincts of fatherhood, but
societal bonding. I mean, humans will pack bond with anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's in there. And then there's also Smalls, right? Lester Smalls, the Mad Max character, who just like doesn't fit in at all, but it's the Coen Brothers movie, so you're like, yeah, whatever.
I like how soft spoken that dude is.
Yeah, and that's Tex Ellis or something like that. He's a character actor. Yeah, Coen Brothers.
You've seen him before.
Coen Brothers love character actors. Yeah, you got that McMurray guy's in it. Frances McDermott's in it. Obviously, that's Joel Coen's wife, or is it Eden? I don't remember. One of the Coen brothers is married to her. They've been married to her for a long ass time. She's also in Blood Simple. Like she's kind of major partnership with the Coen brothers. She's done a lot for them, with them, all that sort of stuff. She's a badass lady. She's funny in this movie, just as like the fucking crazy suburban mom. But yeah, that's what I mean. So they have all, just like every Coen brothers movie, there's a slew of just great character actors that are in it. This guy Smalls he's got Mama Never Loved Me tattooed on him. He's got like his bronze baby shoes he wears as like a trinket. He's got a Woody Woodpecker tattoo too. Like
they highlight that a couple times. I don't know.
I'm not sure. What's the relevance of that? Like they're more alike than they think, I think is what it is. Like maybe High's also got like a checkered past with the familial bonds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, does High predict the future with his dreams, or does he do his dreams manifest in reality? Because like he dreams about Smalls before he arrives, and he seems like a dream-like figure, right? He's like a totemic evil,
like he doesn't actually exist in the real world.
But then he shows up, and you're like, well, he's talking to people, intimidating them and stuff. So yeah, there's an element of abandonment or having a bad childhood. How does that lead to you raising children? Basically, High is a really complex character, and a lot of it seems to have to do with masculinity. Like you said, fatherhood is a major aspect of masculinity and how he deals with it. Seems like it might be motivated by his upbringing, or at least the life experiences that we're like privy to, where he's just been in the system for a long time. Because then as soon as Gale and Avell show up, he's like, well, we just do crime again.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing too,
he also really wants to impress them, which is a different kind of masculinity that they're presenting.
Right, and they bust his balls a little bit about who really wears the pants and that kind of shit.
You know, the classic shit. Oh man, and he's swayed over by it, which is interesting because he's not as swayed by. So he doesn't buy into like the fake performative masculinity that his boss has, right? The suburban middle class, empty consumer masculinity, I guess is what it would be. So he's not too swayed by that. He's more just like, man, this guy's got a lot of kids and he fucking sucks at telling racist jokes. He just doesn't like the Polish.
Who does?
I don't mind them. So the stereotype is that they're dumb.
Yeah, but did you hear about the one the Polish man walked in the bar with shit in his hands?
Yeah, there's also the one about like the Polish cymbal player, Gilbert Gottfried's one. That's pretty good. And then they have like the secret recipe for ice. There's like this long running joke about Polish people and ice or something. I don't really know all the details of it, but it's like, or they lost the recipe for ice, or I don't know. Sorry, Poland and people of Polish descent. I know you get a fucking rough shake of it even to this day. Like a big part of Brexit was like they're like, we gotta get these goddamn Poles out of here. That shit's wild. Racism. Just like I know we talk about it a lot, but like how it just doesn't make any sense even within the strict confines of like Western Anglosphere, like race, race concepts. It's like, well, sorry, Polish people, you're not white again. Damn, that's wild. Anyhow, this is McMurray. Well, the actor's name is McMurray. He sucks telling Polish jokes. He seems shitty. High is not really impressed with them, He's just like, whatever, I need a job, I guess. But he is easily manipulated by Gale. Possibly because it's John Goodman.
You're saying John Goodman can easily manipulate you?
Not anymore. He's old now. I don't think he could beat me up. But at one point, he might have been able to beat me up. That's the thing is, he just like, I don't know, he seems pretty sturdy. He's not one of those
like oak.
Yeah, he's not one of those like fat dudes where you're just like, whatever. Like, yeah, right. John Goodman's one of those fat dudes where you're like, oh no. This is even before he's in Roseanne, right? 87?
Yeah.
Because Roseanne starts in 89 or 90 or something like that. It starts around the same time as The Simpsons.
Yeah,
if you can believe. Simpsons still ambling along, huh?
Another 20 years, I'm sure.
Fox still makes a lot of money off of it, huh?
You mean Disney still makes a lot of money off of it?
Disney
bought Fox.
Holy shit. Yeah, you're right. What the fuck? Disney does own everything. Man,
Simpsons World coming to
that
Disneyland.
Was what I wanted to talk about was the D23.
Oh.
Where like, all right, Disney Plus is coming. Look at all our cool shit. Look at this cool shit. And I was like, man, fucking Cyberpunk just didn't happen. Well, it's happening. It's just like in the lamest fucking way possible. Like, it's cable companies and networks were like, man, we can't make that big old quiche we used to make because of streaming services. So now it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. You just gotta stream everything. You'll pay 10 times as much as you did for cable. Fucking got them. There's people that are totally going to. I'm just like, no, I guess I'm fucking gonna pirate everything again. I'm not gonna get Disney. Like, I probably won't renew Shudder because I don't use it as much as I thought I would. Mm-hmm. And then Netflix fucking sucks. So I guess I'm done streaming. But I like just hearing all the reports and stuff that are coming out from D23, whatever. Is that like some fucking Disney Business Expo or some shit?
Yeah, it's like their convention. I think it's more like a fan thing.
All of them are fan things now, even though they're really just like for the shareholders and shit. Everything's just performative bullshit. But anyways, I was just like, oh, this is fucking lame and scary and dumb. Like everything. I can't wait for that Disney healthcare.
I mean, here's the thing. I just more for Disney healthcare. I think they're probably going to stay mostly in the entertainment business. However, Amazon is going to fuck us with their healthcare.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It really seems like we're careening toward collapse, like more than ever, like societal collapse. I don't know. I just fucking been listening to Shoo a lot because I got bummed out by World of Warcraft.
So why not listen to the band that made you bummed out when you were 18?
Like, why don't I just listen to this band that's really challenging emotionally? Just, you know what? Let me listen to the band that's just all about directly confronting like personal horror and sorrow. No problem. Oh, as a side story, I've met Jamie Stewart.
We're already on a side story. Go ahead.
I've met Jamie Stewart quite a few times.
You met Jimmy Stewart?
Jamie Stewart.
Oh, hey, fellas.
Jamie Stewart from Shusha. Oh. Quite a few times. Hung out with him a little bit. He's a pretty cool guy.
Did you talk about his cat's tongue a lot?
No, but one of the times I met him is when they were touring for Dear God, I Hate Myself. Mm-hmm. And one of their like merchandising was like, I love Shushu and cats. Or like fucking the only thing that matters is Shoo and Cats or whatever, and he was wearing that shirt. We were eating at Denny's, and he was eating at Denny's late at night. So that was cool. Yeah. So,
I mean, I've had a Denny's late at night lots of times,
Yeah.
but I don't like it. I'd rather go to IHOP or Waffle House.
I mean, it's like you've been drinking, you've been
yeah, IHOP or Waffle House are my go-to. I'd rather
Yeah.
not go to Denny's.
Well, we were in Tucson, which like Tucson sucks,
Nothing
and
in there.
Denny's is close to like the venue, so you can get like Denny's nachos. They're not bad when it's like 3 a.m. and you've been drinking and stuff.
I always want to order breakfast food.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I met him a few times in his illustrious career. The first time I met him was like for probably when Women as Lovers came out, and then again for Dear God I Hate Myself. A few years later, I had a few drinks with him randomly. I don't know, like it's weird. Like there's no way Jamie Stewart remembers me, right? Because he's hung out with so many fans, I'm sure. But it's like, yeah, I've hung out with him like 3 times. That's just funny.
What's his opinion on performative masculinity?
Probably doesn't like it very much, since Shoo Shoo is pretty much all about feminism, and he's bisexual and considers himself queer. Has never really been about traditional masculinity. Hates that shit. Yells at people in the audience about being the dickhole men. All songs are usually about toxic masculinity. I don't know. Basically, Jamie Stewart and Shoo Shoo is not for everybody. A lot of people will listen to it, and they'll be like, this is garbage. It sounds like garbage. His lyrics are way too confrontational. He's making me feel and think things.
The funniest thing that you just said is that his lyrics are too confrontational. Like, you think people actually listen to lyrics.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I guess they'll mostly never be popular because their sound is really like aggressive too.
Yeah, that's really what their problem is.
Unsettling a lot of the time. Like they have a whole album that's like, we're only using analog synth and it's gonna be scary. It's a good one. It's called Angel's Guts. That's a good album. I wouldn't. That's not.
This is now Shoo Shoo Cast.
Yeah, this is now Shoo Shoo Podcast. Angel's Guts is not the Shoo Shoo album I would recommend if you're just getting into Shoo Shoo. It's a little bit too challenging. I know it's, oh, this is a challenging album, how pretentious, blah, blah. Fuck you, I know more about music than you do.
That's presumptive.
I mean, to be honest, like, there's gotta be, if the only way there's someone listening to this podcast who knows more about music than I do is like some like fucking critic who their day job is talking about music. But yeah, Angel's Guts way too confrontational for introduction to Shoo Shoo. You gotta go with like Fabulous Muscles, Women as Lovers. Forget one of their recent albums where it's like more kind of guitar dance pop centric. But keep in mind, the lyrics are gonna be about sexual abuse, sort of like violent crime, dealing with gender identity, you know, all that cool stuff that everyone in mainstream society loves to talk about. I'm surprised they aren't bigger now, actually, because they were really cutting edge politically back.
Yeah.
And they've
There
kept,
you go. That's why.
and they've kept on track. But I feel like at least like the internet, Twitter community,
man, I don't
and
feel
Tumblr
like-
and stuff might have caught up with Shoo Shoo.
I don't know. It seems to me like the people that are considered the far left or have more radically left ideas don't really get popular.
That's true. Well, I just think maybe far left Twitter, were the far left on the internet would be like championing Shoo Shoo now, but also
The far left on Twitter doesn't seem like they would like Shoo Shoo.
the far left on the internet doesn't seem like they like culture at all. Like, sorry for that hot take, but it seems like you motherfuckers like don't appreciate anything or like have no taste, just like most people on the internet. I'm not saying the left, being a member of the left, I'm not saying that you guys specifically have no taste as compared to the right.
Just
It's,
everybody.
we've already established that the far right has no taste. They see the death throes of capitalism and blame it on Jews. So like those guys don't understand anything. But people on the internet with like the biggest like bullhorns on the left and stuff, fucking you guys got no taste. Like I don't know what the deal is. Like you just, I think you've never like gone outside or gone to shows or like had fun ever. You just been on the internet like feeling bad all the time, and so now you got no taste and don't believe in anything. That's kind of a bummer because if you want to convince people that anarchy is like cool and stuff, you should probably try and make it fun because it's supposed to be fun anyways. The whole thing is like, yeah, people can do drugs if they want. They can have sex with who they want. Like, so they fucking make that shit fun, and maybe people will agree with you. I don't know.
You should have seen Raising Arizona.
Before you watched Raising Arizona, it actually pulled me out of a deep depression after World
It
of
is
Warcraft.
such a fun movie.
I was like, fucking, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I put on Raising Arizona, and they're chilling in the car after they steal the baby, and Holly Hunter just starts crying. I was like, I love him so much. And I was like, yeah, this is a great movie. She gives a powerhouse performance. I love Holly Hunter. I hate to say it, but she's totally adorable in this movie, which is crazy to say because Holly Hunter is like definitely one of those like very. She got big dick energy. You know what I mean? Like, she yell your ass in real life, and you'd be like, "Thanks, Holly Hunter." So it's weird to call her adorable, but like she is like super adorable in this movie. And yeah, I don't mean to infantilize women. I'm not saying
men can be adorable too, Kyle.
Yes, in fact, Avel's kind of adorable too because he's so infantilized in the film. He's like specifically infantilized.
Yeah, he is definitely.
And then he takes on another aspect of masculinity we were talking about. He takes on like the
mother role
when they take the baby. Yeah, interesting. I do like when they forget Junior on the hood and then drive off and then like
they do it again.
Well, I like the first time where they just start yelling because like even if they're like shitty criminals too, like bank robbers and stuff, but they don't seem to be murderers or anything crazy, right? So they're just like, oh my god, did we kill a baby? Which would be like fucking the worst, right? Yeah. I just like that. They're like, yeah, which makes sense. Smalls doesn't care about killing babies though.
No, he's like, I'm gonna sell this baby to the highest bidder.
He was sold as a baby.
Yeah,
he
1950s dollars.
Yeah, he implies he was, but we don't know where he get his baby shoes. I guess he was wearing them when he was sold. They bronzed them for him.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you buy a baby, you're gonna give it shoes, probably, right? What are you buying the baby for?
Well, that's the thing is his trinket is specifically, like you bronze.
Yeah,
baby shoes.
I know what bronze baby shoes are, asshole.
But then why? Like that's like. Someone had to appreciate him a little bit for that to happen.
Yeah, the people that bought him, because they paid for him.
Oh, but then why did he turn into such an asshole? Maybe the people who bought him were nice.
Yeah, people that buy babies tend to be nice.
Well, they bronzed the shoes. There's like, you know what I mean? There's like an element of like,
I bet like Don Jr. has bronze baby shoes. Does that mean that his parents loved him and did right by him?
I think his mom probably loved him, right?
I don't think so. His mom seems weird as shit.
Oh.
Tiffany's mom seems the normal.
They all have different moms, right?
Well, the Don and Ivanka and Eric all have the same mom, and Tiffany is Marla Maples, and then Barron is
Melania. Oh, so
Ivana Trump is Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka.
Oh, I saw on Twitter you someone like had a picture of them, of the family, and it's like,
oh yeah, Don Jr. is too many shapes.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? How do you know which one's which? Like, obviously, Ivanka is
the lady. I know. I really learned it because I was watching Saturday Night Live, and they make her do the stupid one. That's the only reason I know.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live because Donald Trump was right about, I don't know, maybe he's been right about like two things or something accidentally. One of them is Saturday Night Live is not funny. I don't know. I honestly do not know that Saturday Night Live has ever been funny.
Well, I mean,
there's always been a couple funny people on Saturday Night Live at one time or another, but it's like not ever good. I don't think it's a good format, honestly.
No, I mean, like, it's a sketch show. What do you want from it?
For it to be funnier, spend some more time. I think the live format aspect of it is really detriment because you just got to come up with shit in a week.
Yeah.
I don't know why you got to do it for the podcast, and I basically just bullshit the whole thing.
I'm pretty sure that's what they do too.
Yeah, it's like there's like talented people on Saturday Night Live, and like I like Kyle Mooney who's on it, but he doesn't ever get to do anything because his shit's too weird. But I mean, it's like not good. Their political takes too are just like so.
That's everybody. I mean, like, I don't know that I've seen good political commentary or big political satire in years.
Who cares, man? Who cares? It's all just the same Twitter bullshit. It's only 3 websites on the internet now and permeates all of culture. It's fucking Reddit, Twitter, and Tumblr. Just screen caps from each one posted everywhere. Posting screen caps from Reddit to Twitter, Twitter to Reddit, Tumblr.
None of these websites are in Raising Arizona.
No, the internet didn't exist yet. Well,
Yeah,
it did, but it wasn't for like, it wasn't like mainstream consumer level internet yet. But Al Gore would help fix that. Remember when he got called out for saying he helped, create the internet?
Even though he
And
kinda does.
he absolutely did. That's another problem with Democrats. Well, I mean, he had like such a wimpy response to it, where he's just like, "Oh, okay." Should have been like, "No, motherfucker, here's what I did. Stupid asshole, you didn't fucking create the internet, you fucking dick. Fucking, you wouldn't be able to fucking be on here tweeting your garbage, Donald Trump, if it wasn't for Al Gore." He was roommates with,
Donald Trump and Al Gore.
Al Gore's roommates with three-name guy. He's in No Country for Old Men. He's also Two-Face in Batman Forever.
I know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna let you keep going.
And,
Starts with a T.
And he's also, from like Tennessee or something. And he's very old now. Hanks. Lee Jones. Boom. Got it, man. I got fucking boomer brain now.
You Joe Biden over here.
Yeah, go to our website. It's Joe 303330003 2020. I don't know. Fucking that's it. Raising Arizona is great.
I don't feel like you actually got to your point about masculinity ever. What was the essay?
I don't know. I kept getting sidetracked.
Yeah,
by
you did.
thoughts. I haven't been sleeping right. I guess my point is performative masculinity is bad.
I don't know. It is, but at the same point, like everybody in society is performing. It's to a certain extent every day.
I don't give a fuck. I don't do that shit no more. I'm not gonna be performatively masculine. I like being presenting as masculine, and I am like masculine. Like I like that.
I like just taking my dick out and waving it around.
No,
circles,
that's
helicopters.
You know what's crazy is they're just now thinking like, oh, maybe they should legislate people sending unsolicited dick pics. It's like, why wouldn't you don't walk around the street and just show women your dick, do you? Why would you just send a picture of your dick to Saya? I don't get it. I don't know. But that's because I've been raised by a feminist and been listening to Shoo and shit, so I have like a code of ethics when it comes to treating other human beings.
I don't. Does that work? Does it ever work? I mean, I assume it works at some point. Otherwise, people wouldn't do it. But it can't be a very high success rate.
I mean, honestly, if I got like random dick pics and like it was like a good looking dick, I'd be like,
you've never seen a good looking dick.
There's good looking dicks. Don't lie to yourself.
No,
I'd
there's
be like,
not.
Oh, well, I'm of the opinion that dicks are pretty cool, vaginas are pretty cool. I like the way human genitals look. There's something interesting about them. But if I see like a really handsome dick, I'd probably be like, not like, oh, let's go on a date and get married now. But I'd be like, hey man, that's a good dick. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be upset about it. I'd be like, hey, that's a pretty good looking dick. But it's also
there's like an element of like threat to it too.
Yeah,
it's like also, it's way too aggressive.
Well, it's different me receiving dick pics as a man and being able to say like, "Hey, man, good dick," because the threat's not really it's somewhat negligible for me. But it's different when you just send it to women, obviously, because there is like, haha, here's my dick, I gotcha. I forced you to look at my dick. It's the same thing as like flashing people, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand how there's been like decades long disconnect from like, yeah, this probably should be illegal, right? Jesus Christ, society. That's what I mean. Society's just we're off the we've been off the rails for a while now. Somehow we just keep skipping back on for a little bit and then it's over. It's over for us.
Green and oh shit.
Yeah, it's curtains for us. The beginning of the film, HI's narration is talking about Ronald Reagan being a bastard, but he's supposedly a good guy. How's a man supposed to work in these conditions? But maybe it's he's supposedly a good guy, so maybe it's his advisors. That's why he is leading such a what would be considered a terrible life, I guess, in mainstream circles, but seems to be doing all right, in my opinion.
He's got a trailer home in beautiful
we'll
suburban Tempe.
Tempe, as I like to call it. Tempe.
One time
I got a ticket for public urination in Tempe.
Oh.
But I was like in an alleyway behind a dumpster, like super like secreted away, and a bicycle cop just happened to be going
That
down
sucks, because one time I legitimately peed in the fountain outside the library, and then I didn't got.
Yeah, and they're like, here's your ticket for public urination. And I was like, it wasn't really in public, was it? Yeah. He also pushed me while I was peeing. Because, like, he, like, snuck up on me legitimately.
How does a bike cop sneak up on you?
He's a fucking silent bike. Also, I was drinking, obviously. So it's, like, not my... I at the height of my senses. I
don't know. I feel like if I'm ever peeing in an alleyway, I got my heckles up.
I don't know. I was like, oh yeah, we just gotta get this pee out because it's obviously
He's trying to get you to pee on yourself.
It was an emergency situation, and yeah,
I don't cop to that. That's when
you're just doing cop shit, man. That's what I'm talking about. Fucking these goddamn cops out here. Fucking, I'll piss on you, man.
You should have.
Like, oh,
you
sorry,
then you would have got arrested. So
I would have got my fucking ass shot. They would
probably not. They probably would have tried to club you first.
Those horse cops would have come by and trampled me. Those horse cops are always down on Mill.
Yeah.
And they won't let you touch the horse.
Stupid. I want to pet the horse.
Fucking that horse is being abused. Dogs too. The dog, how they train dogs for police. It's animal abuse. So nothing.
Plus, they constantly leave those goddamn dogs in their cars in Arizona and they die.
Yeah, and they do weird shit. Where like, oh, we got to practice rappelling down a building with my fucking dog. Why?
Yeah, you're gonna rappel.
You're gonna breach a building with your dog.
What? Where do you think you work?
Yeah, you're a fucking cop, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Go home and beat your wife, you piece of shit.
Navy SEAL.
Yeah, so anyways, fuck cops. They're doing performative masculinity shit, toxic masculinity. I don't know. I'm tired of, like, fucking whatever masculinity is supposed to be in modern society. I saw people on Reddit trying to make the argument that masculinity was determined by women because they choose who's most sexually viable. But
I mean, I guess there's an element of
some
truth
masculinity
to
is determined by women,
but it doesn't seem like women like a lot of that hyper masculinity shit that seems
no, they don't.
Prevalent.
It seems
like I've never met a woman that's like yeah. Well, I guess I've met a couple, but
yeah, but
most people I've met are not into that shit.
Yeah, so it's almost as if there's an element of like sort of cultural sabotage, or you're being forced to conform to some level of masculinity that these old ass white dudes who run society determined as masculinity. Or what sells the most products? Or does consumption end and art begin?
I don't know. I don't feel like the traditional form of masculinity really sells a lot of moves a lot of product these days.
Fucking the NFL's doing great.
Is it?
I think so, right? I think they still make millions of dollars.
They are. They're doing. I mean, they're doing fine. I just don't think they're doing as well as they were, say, like 5 years ago. But I could be wrong.
Oh, and I don't mean to take anything away from the struggles of what femininity means either. That's obviously a big cultural problem too. But we're specifically talking about masculinity today, which I feel like we can't really talk about what femininity means in society since really. We haven't experienced it at all. So sorry, ladies. I'll try to get one of my girlfriends to come on the podcast when it comes up. Maybe she can talk about her struggles with it. But right now, this is sad white boy hours. This is sad boy hours around here.
I'm not that sad. Except for the fact that I live in a society.
Yeah, I'm sad posting on Twitter. I live in a society. It wants me to be something I'm not. And actually, I feel like I've always been aware of the pressure. Like, oh, this is what you do. This is mainstream society. I've just never really done it. So that's cool. It's not like I've necessarily been like imprisoned for it, but you can be
for not being masculine enough.
Yeah, I mean, they would love to criminalize transgenderism and
homosexuality. I mean, they were. It was at one point.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, they'd love to do it again, and they'll find any way that they can do it. That's the whole reason the fucking bathroom debate is still ongoing in the South and shit, because it's like, oh, no, you're a criminal. We all know you're criminal sex perverts. I've seen John Waters movies. Perfectly accurate representation of the LGBT community.
I also want to challenge the fact that they probably haven't seen a John Waters movie.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Hairspray.
They don't have fun. Oh, they've seen Hairspray. That one's like doesn't have as much teeth to it though, because it's just about race in the United States, so desegregation, which is people have like been there. A lot of people are like, well, okay, I guess. You know what I mean? That's a excuse me, interesting thing about like LGBTQ like art and film and stuff, and even like elements of like pride and stuff, where it's supposed to be really in your face and like aggressively like sort of confrontational like art, you know. But then the problem is not the problem, but just as I said, where people on the right confuse capitalism with anti-Semitism, they like see this like over the top performance confrontational like art And they're like, oh, that's how gays are. Yeah, so it's not a problem with the LGBT community or the art at all. It's just fucking dummies who don't understand anything. That's just funny. I mean, it's dangerous, but it's funny too. It just sucks that they have power. Like, how do you get so much power when you're an idiot?
Well, your daddy had it, and so it just passes on down.
Yeah, I wish I had that fucking essay still, because there was like a paragraph from it I wanted to read that would have solidified what my point was, but I don't remember it. I haven't been sleeping very well. World of Warcraft ruined my life.
Fuck you, Blizzard.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play it.
You're
anymore.
supporting capitalism, Kyle.
Yeah, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism except for eating pussy.
I don't know that. I mean, you're not really participating in sort of capitalism there, unless you're
That's
with
right.
a sex worker, in which case.
I mean, you're doing the sex work part of capitalism. You don't gotta pay taxes on that shit. Boom.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah. That's how they got Al Capone's ass.
I like that. The IRS is like, we don't care what you do, but you gotta give us money.
You gotta give us our cut.
Yeah, you can do crime. Just give us our cut. Yeah, so I guess that's capitalism. I don't know. Well, if you're not participating in sex work and you're just doing it out of love, lust, or regular human feelings, then that's it, man. That's it. All you gotta do is eat pussy and ass. Is there anything more masculine than that? I don't think so.
Oh, what are we watching next week?
Well, next week is our fucking 50th episode anniversary spectacular. I think we've been doing it for like a year or two.
Well, 52 episodes would be a year, right?
Yeah, but we actually like started
that's true.
early, and then we had like a backlog before we started.
Yeah, so it might be the year coming up.
Well, I
That
think
reminds me, I got to re-up our fucking subscription.
we
for
recorded the first episode like in July or August, I think. So
Did we?
yeah, it was still summertime.
Still summertime right now.
Oh, did you see the new Lana Del Rey music video?
Nope.
She's like 50 feet tall walking around LA, so I have a new fetish now.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
The 52-foot tall woman.
Yo,
I remember that.
giant panties. Wow.
Wow.
Maybe I always had that fetish. Yeah, it's our 50th anniversary spectacular. We're gonna be watching the fucking greatest animated film of all time, Akira. Akira.
I was gonna say a Studio Ghibli movie, but you cut me out.
Studio Ghibli presents Akira, right? It's all from Japan. It's all the same shit. Nah, it's gonna be fucking good. It's gonna, I don't know, probably be a long episode. I'm working on some ideas, workshopping some ideas in my brain about some things we can talk about. Trying to like hammer down the format a little bit more. Have, like,
this episode, I think you nailed it.
Nah, it would have been better if I was like sleeping, right? I think. But also, shit, man, we can have a new theme song next week.
Oh man,
It's gonna be the extendo version too.
oh, we'll cut it for the next one.
Yeah, after that it'll be cut down. But it's gonna be extendo version. It's the director's cut, the ultimate version of the theme song. It's gonna be pretty dope. So watch Kira. Also, to get prepared, you'll probably want to read Bart Kira, which is the entire manga of Akira
With Bart Simpson
being redrawn with Simpsons characters.
Bart Kira. Catch up or brush up on your Baudrillard.
You got a whole week, so should be fine, right? I mean, there's people that go to school for years just learning about Baudrillard and similar concepts.
You know what I call those people? Lame.
If I had fucking disposable income, all I would do is go to like fucking philosophy classes.
Dude, you don't need to go to a philosophy class. You can read it yourself.
Yeah, but I'm fucking lazy about getting recommendations. I've put in so much work over the years of like finding shit to read on my own. It's not like I have a degree or went to school with some shit. I'm independently educated, but I'm tired of it. I want some asshole to tell me what to read. I want Stalin back. Stalin, tell me what to read. God damn it. Yeah.
Nothing by anybody with a T in their name.
Yeah, so that's anyone, the tankies on the internet. I think they just got daddy issues, right? That's the same people that really like Jordan Peterson, but maybe don't necessarily hate women. They're just like, I really need someone to tell me what to do. I need Stalin.
A strong right Stalin, daddy.
Yeah, I need Stalin to tell me what to do. And like anarchy will never work because you need someone to tell you what to do. Yeah, anarchy's for kids. Except for you're the one that needs someone to tell you what to do to be a good person. Interesting.
Someone like Joseph Stalin.
Big Daddy Stalin. You seen pictures of him when he was young, though?
I mean, he's a handsome guy.
Like, all right, Stalin. Wonder what his dick pics look like.
I bet
they're substantially handsome.
they're probably girthy.
He looks like he's got a handsome dick.
I don't know about that.
What if he had, that classic picture of him where he's young, where he's got like a nice 5 o'clock shadow, but a big mustache kind of too?
Are you gonna do something about like a bushy?
Yeah. What
area?
if he had that mustache down below? Now that'd be a handsome dick.
Genteel, even.
All right. See you next week.
This has been Stalin Dickcast.
Yeah, and shoo and other stuff. I don't know. Our podcast is better than everyone else. Got better taste than everyone else. Everyone else is fucking like, Joker's coming out. You think it'll be a good dick suck? You get your dick sucked, or we suck the dick of Warner Brothers. How does it work anymore? Oh man, Marvel doesn't got Spider-Man anymore. Ah, geez, can't wait to subscribe to the Mandalorian channel. Yeah, movies. All right.